afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Kenny, and folks, today we want to show you something a little bit about apples. But I'm telling you, we have had a really a washout here. I'm talking about a flash flood. It's super wet, but thank God it has stopped. We are currently on our deck. Now we're going to show you how to make old-fashioned apple butter. And it's not done too much anymore. Some people still make it, but I want to show you how to make old-fashioned apple butter, and it's really not that hard. But first, I want to show you my apples. Now, I have just been to the tree, and I picked it up. I'm going to make about, say like 6 or maybe 8 pints, and I've got the apples to do it with, folks. I want to show you up close and personal, if you will, my apples. These are golden delicious, and they're beginning to turn really nicely. But let me show you something. I told you before that these apples are organic, and they have never had just the slightest little teeny weeny bit, if you will, of any insecticide sprayed on them. Now, I want to put this on a scale. I've got a little tiny food scale here that's very small, and I want you to take a look. My son's going to put these down. He's going to get very close to that. Look at that. That apple is 9 ounces. Just by itself, it's 9 ounces. You can probably see that on my scale. Yeah, there it is. You can see it. Okay, now let me show you one more. That one is 9 ounces. Okay, let's go down here. That one is 8 ounces. Okay. Now let's go one more. Number 3. That one right there is 11.5 ounces just by itself. Right here you can see that is a massive apple. Now, very few growers in my neck of the woods ever have an apple that big. Now, folks, I'm going to tell you something. Growing organically, most people says to themselves, okay, I just can't get nothing to grow. I cannot get anything to grow if I grow it organically. Most people will say, I have got to have chemical fertilizers, or my whatever it is they're growing won't be any size. That is a bunch of baloney. If you use the right organic stuff, your apples will be just as big as mine. I'm serious. It all depends on what you put on them. That apple weighs almost 12 ounces. Now listen, this is what I'm going to say to you next. A couple of years ago, actually it was 3 years ago, I had an apple, the very same tree, very same time of the year. That apple was 14 ounces from the very same tree. 14 ounces. This one's almost 12, 11 and a half. And folks, I'm going to tell you, don't listen to these people that say to you that you can't grow something very large if you don't put chemical fertilizers on it. That is not so. This is living proof of that. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to make my apple butter. Now listen, I'm going to put these, I'm going to quarter them up. I'm going to quarter them up, very small. I'm going to quarter them up. They've already been washed. I'm going to use the peel, and I'm going to put part of the core inside of those. Now, inside that thing, a lot of the pectin that's in the apple is in the core. That's where a lot of its nutrients are, and in the peel. I do not remove the peel. If you're making apple butter, do not remove the peel. That is where a ton of your nutrients are. So I'm going to quarter these up, and I'm going to put them in my crock pot. That's right. I'm going to put them in my crock pot, and I'm going to, well, I'll show you the ingredients a little bit later when I get them all quartered up. So you hang around and let me show you how to make apple butter. All right, now folks, let me show you how I process my apples. Now, if you have a ton of apples, let me say, if you have a ton, meaning you've got a huge amount to process, let me recommend to you one of these processors here. Now, this right here is actually for blooming onion, but this is for apples. And it's a real fast method of doing it. Simply take this thing, put it right down on top of the core, and give it a nice shot like that. Now, here, now this is for blooming onion, and the reason I use it is because it simply does a little better job. Now, watch this. See, it is so fast. And I have got my container almost full. That's what you have left, and it takes just a second to do that, and you've got plenty of time to work up a huge amount without really taking a lot of time to do it. And my container is almost full, and I've only used about a half a dozen of these large apples. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. This here is a process that will save you a lot of time if you don't have a lot of time. So I thought I would share that with you. And now we are just about full, so I'm going to finish this up with another apple or two, and then we're going to give you the recipe. All right, now folks, I am ready to give you this recipe that I want to share with you. Now, I am going to do this in a crock pot. As you can see here, my crock pot, I am going to make about 8 pints of apple butter. Now, the ingredients that you will need for this amount in this crock pot, let me share these with you. You will need a full cup of brown sugar, a full cup of white sugar, and incidentally, I've already added to this, you will need a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Don't forget that. Then you will need 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And then you will go with 3 tablespoons full of cinnamon, and I recommend you use the Saigon cinnamon for this. It is a better quality, more potent, better tasting, sweeter cinnamon than the regular brand, the Saigon cinnamon. I use this particular brand, and of course it's sweeter and better. And then you would want to go with, I use a pumpkin spice. This is totally organic, and it's only got nutmeg in it. It's got a little bit of Saigon cinnamon in it. And let me tell you, it just simply makes it better. That is pumpkin spice. Pumpkin pie spice, excuse me. Now, I am going to put all of these ingredients in this, and I'm going to cook it for about 8 to 10 hours. This crock pot is a slow process. It makes the best apple butter. And I'm going to put the lid on it and let it cook. Oh, and by the way, I forgot. The recipe, add a pinch of salt to that too. That is something I don't want to forget. Just a pinch of salt. So let me go over it with you one more time. A tablespoonful of apple cider vinegar, a cup of brown sugar, full cup, a cup of white sugar, 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of vanilla, 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, a tablespoon of your pumpkin spice recipe, 1 tablespoon, I might have said 2, but I meant to say 1, pumpkin pie spice, 1 tablespoonful. And of course a dash of salt. And that is the recipe. And we're going to put all of those ingredients in this, starting with the brown sugar. That is what makes your apple butter, is the brown sugar. Now that will go down in there. I'll stir it down in there, and then I'm going to put the cup of white sugar there too, and let it go down in on the apples. And then I am ready to turn it on. Now folks, I am about halfway, if you can see this. I'm about half through with this. Just because it's a crock pot, folks, that doesn't mean that you don't have to stir it, because this is a crock pot, and I like the thing about it is they are really less likely to scorch your apple butter because they're crock. Unlike metal, they will not scorch that much, but you do need to get it stirred occasionally while it's cooking. Now this is going to cook a little bit faster than I thought it was. I'm going to be through with this in a very short time because it simply just cooks those golden delicious apples up so fast. So we're trucking along real good here. All right now folks, we have got this ready for the final step. Now folks, we didn't have to cook this for as long as I thought, because of course we had a crock pot that didn't require that much time. So we averaged out on this, it was about 4 hours and a half. About 4 hours and a half, all the cooking time that this crock pot took. Now, depending on your crock pot, if you wanted to cook it that long, about 10 hours, on very low heat, that would be okay with some crock pots, because they will absolutely take that long for them to cook. But this one was really fast. So now, let me show you my final step. I've got an old-fashioned hand blender here. Now this is going to take just a little effort. Just go ahead when you have cooked this. Just go ahead and do this. Shift the gear here. I like to shift gears on a mixer. You don't want to get too fast. You'll get a ticket. Look at the consistency of that. Now we have got butter. Now remember folks, for those of you that look at the term apple butter, that does not imply that it has got butter in it. No. There is no butter in apple butter. Basically what you have is the ingredients that I have just showed to you, or gave to you rather. Now let me show you the spoon test. Here we go. Now take a look at that. That is some awesome apple butter. Let me tell you, that tastes absolutely. Let me show you. Here we go. Here's to your health with apple butter. Awesome. Let me tell you, folks, you slap that on a hot piece of toast this winter, or anytime you want to, you slap that again on a piece of toast, and I'm going to tell you, you will absolutely say, oh my God, I've got to have some more. I've got to have some more. It's that good. It is old-fashioned and made with total organic ingredients. Now, folks, you can't get any better than that. So let me tell you, try this recipe. Follow the guidelines that I gave you, and you will make perfect apple butter. Yes, you will. So listen, pass this on to somebody that perhaps maybe would like to make some old-fashioned apple butter. And perhaps they will thank you for it. And listen, let me take the time to thank you, all of you, for watching our videos. And listen, go ahead and click that like button for me. Would you do that? And also, while you're at it, click that subscribe button. And as always, let me say to you, you have a wonderful, blessed day. And we'll talk to you